Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the end of summer. At least as my family knows it, we are headed back to school, and today I want to talk about a new routine and just how to get motivated to get back into that daily grind of waking up, getting the kids up and out the house, keeping the house tidy, while also having peace for ourselves. If you're new here, my name is Lauren Nicholson. I love to share all things homemaking, and I would love it if you would subscribe. And if you're returning, it's so great to see you. Okay, guys, let's jump into this beautiful day. So as I'm ending this beautiful summer season with my kids, I'm taking one of my final walks out here in the vineyards. You can see all of these beautiful white wine grapes are getting ready to be harvested, and we're transitioning into red grapes. You'll see most of them have all turned red and will probably be harvested sometime in August. But it has been a very mild growing season, not only for my garden, but it seems to be the same in this vineyard. So we'll see what kind of vintage 2025 wines have for us here out in Napa Valley. So I wanted to chat with you guys as you may or may not be transitioning from summer to back to school, but I wanted to talk about a nice daily routine that is strong and steady, that keeps us balanced, that keeps the household happy, and just keeps the stress at bay. Today it's still summertime, so I have already kind of done my morning routine, and it is time to feed everybody some lunch. I typically do a pretty hearty breakfast, a pretty mild lunch, and then another hearty dinner. That's always been the way I've done things. I feel like feeding the kids healthy, whether they are in school or here at the house for summertime, is a really, really important routine for me to manage. The only thing is sometimes I don't always feed myself as well, which is why I always turn to factor meals in my day-to-day. I will tell you, I have now been serving these to my kids as well, especially my boys seem to love it. And on a busy day like this, as we are heading back to school, I have to tell you there's nothing more exciting than seeing my factor meal on the front porch, ready for me to stay healthy and eat delicious meals all week long. If you guys aren't familiar with Factor, they are the greatest meal plan that helps you meet your nutritious goals, and it's delivered fresh, never frozen, dietitian approved meals right to your doorstep. And they team up with gourmet chefs, each meal using only ingredients with integrity that make you feel your best all day long. I love that it is stress-free. I can have ready to eat meals very quickly in the refrigerator, just 2 minutes in the microwave. I love that they have 35 different options every single week. They're calorie smart, keto, protein plus, vegan, veggie. I also love their surf and turf and their gourmet meals. They happen to be my favorites. They have an additional 60 add-ons every week, like breakfast, on the go, lunch, snacks, beverages, all to help you stay healthy and fueled all day long. I also love that it takes the guesswork out. In the middle of the day, I have to make a nice big dinner for the kids at night, and I get them a nice healthy breakfast on their way to school every morning. And so in the afternoon, it's nice to just have a really delicious, healthy, protein-packed meal. You can also cut down on grocery trips. It's super flexible, so you can get larger boxes or smaller ones, so loved ones can enjoy them with you. You can also skip weeks if you're traveling. It really does allow you to customize as much as you'd like to fit your lifestyle, your budget, as well as your food preferences, which I just think is incredible. I like keeping my refrigerator stocked with lots of healthy, nutritious things, and Factor allows me to stay super healthy all week long, which I just love. I'm excited to pass on today's offer to you guys. It is one of my favorites, so if you guys want to save 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box, go to factor75.com or click the link below, or use the QR code here on the screen, or use code 50LaurenN to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. Thank you to Factor for sponsoring this portion of today's video, and let's get on through this very busy day ahead of us. So as you guys know, for me, I have 4 children, and they range from elementary school all the way up to high school. Their start times are different, and their pickup times are different, and their daily schedules are all very different depending on sports and outside school activities. So for me as a busy mom, and I do have help from my husband, but I am the one that structures the household. So I like to keep things very organized. I like to stay grounded, productive, and connected to my family, while also making space for my own well-being. I don't know about you, but for me, my well-being and kind of overall just self-care seems to be the first compromise I make when things get overwhelming. And I feel that summertime is always such a chill chill time of the year. I love cooking and cleaning and puttering around the house and just hanging out with the kids. But going back to school is extremely stressful for me, especially as a parent of 4 children. Even if you have 2 children, it is stressful to be able to manage everything that's going on while still maintaining things around the house. So today we're going to talk about a strong, steady mom routine that I have found has worked for me over the years. And if you would like me to do a full routine video, I'd be happy to do that. So while it is summer here in this video and I was able to make a full breakfast for the kids, now it's lunchtime, I've kind of already gotten a lot of things done. We already had a day activity with the kids. I usually make them a nice breakfast, nice lunch, and then I'll make dinner. But in school time, I need to make breakfast and lunch at the same time. So for me, waking up a little bit early and giving myself kind of that anchor for the day is really, really nice. I like getting up between 5:30 and 6:30, kind of just depending on the day. And I like to kind of wake up before the house. It's where I find that peace sets the tone for their day. And if I have a nice restful morning, I'm usually a lot calmer and I can get them up early and have a nice quiet start to the day. I usually do a nice quick stretch. I always have a nice delicious cup of coffee, do a little reading, or lately I've been doing meditations in the morning of just very calm ways to start the day. I'll link a couple of my favorite ones down below. And then I like to get ready before my kids get up. So that's putting on, whether it's just sweatpants and a sweater, workout clothes, or if you're going to work, just fully getting ready, getting my hair brushed, my face washed, my makeup on. And I feel that if you fill your own cup up first, you will have a much better time and being able to pour into theirs without feeling depleted and exhausted before the kids are out the front door. Because I have to make breakfast and lunch before they get out, I find that morning hustle between 6:30 and 8 tends to be the time where I need to have a plan to keep things calm. So I always prepare a rather simple breakfast when I get done getting ready, and I always have a menu ready for their lunches so I know exactly what I'm going to be making and I'm not frustrated looking in the refrigerator wondering what to make. I do make more simple lunches for my younger ones, but my older children, I typically will make them a larger, more substantial lunch, especially those of my kids that are involved in sports. I also like to have a nice quiet breakfast with them, so they all come down a half an hour before school starts, and we allow time for us to sit around the table, have a quiet breakfast, touch base on pickup times, sports, homework, make sure the kids have everything they need before getting up and out of the house for the day. Typically for me, the hours of 8 to 12 is kind of I would say my focus and flow time. I like to knock out the top priorities, which typically looks a lot like this, where I'm doing dishes, tidying up the house. If things are kind of moved around throughout the morning, I like to tidy all of that up and just reset the kitchen. I find the kitchen to be the heart of our home, so I always like to tidy that up. I like to look at my weekly to-do list, and what I do, I will share this in a future video because I do think it really does help, but I do a weekly schedule every Sunday, and every month and every week I write down all of the things that need to happen, and then I actually plan them out within my calendar on certain days when I know I have more time. I like to rotate things like cleaning projects around the house. So some days it'll be the kitchen, sometimes I'll deep clean the front room, kind of more like zone cleaning. And then of course I always have things that absolutely have to get done. And then I always have those little side projects, like that one pantry day where I need to clean the pantry out, or a refrigerator day I need to clean the refrigerator out. I try to do those, at least one of those projects a week. I don't do them all week. I just usually do one a week, maybe 2, depending on how big they are. I always rotate them. That way I kind of don't get stuck doing the same thing every single day. I typically also like to start a load of laundry every day. That way it doesn't pile up and consume all of my weekend. After I'm fueled up for my morning coffee, I always find the hours of 8 to 12 to be my most active. I have the most energy, so that's when I try to tackle those larger projects. Now comes my favorite part of the day. This is when I will usually take a walk between the hours of 12 and 3. This is kind of my way to reset before the kids come home and it gets a bit chaotic again. So I will either take a nice long walk, I will head to the gym. I always like going to the gym midday like that because it tends tends to be pretty dead in there, and I like to kind of have my space. So I always find that midday is great. I've already tackled my projects. Sometimes when I go to the gym in the morning, that kind of like all those little projects are kind of like nipping away at my mind, and I tend to feel a little bit of anxiety starting to creep up if I don't kind of tackle those things first thing. So between the hours of 12 and 3, I always go to the gym, and then I come home or for a walk, and then I come home and have a nice lunch. I usually always do factor meals, unless I'm out of them. We've just bumped up to the 8 boxes just because the kids have been eating them, but it isn't like summertime where I'm just eating kids' leftovers or whatever kind of snack pack is in the refrigerator. I put myself first and make sure I always have a protein shake in the morning. I use the same 3 different kinds. I have a strawberry one, a vanilla one, and a chocolate one. It kind of just depends on what I'm in the mood for. And then I'll have a nice nourishing lunch. It just kind of gives me that energy I need midday without having to turn to something like caffeine. And then after I'm done with lunch, I will take about 45 minutes to an hour of doing just something I want to do, whether it's reading in the yard, playing in my garden. I have different hobbies I like to work on throughout the week of little projects I have going on. I don't spend that time working on household stuff. I try to spend that time doing something for myself. Again, refilling up that cup, making sure I get rest and refueled before we transition into family time, which starts at 3 o'clock. We have pickup, get the kids home. That means my phone is down, my eyes are on the kids. We have many different kids going many different directions. I'm checking in with their homework. I'm making sure that they are on task for what they need to do. I always like to put out a snack before they get home. That way they don't come in and immediately go and grab junk. I always have things like carrots, popcorn. I love doing cucumbers, especially now that I have an abundance of cucumbers. I tend to have those types of things out for them at the table with pencils ready to go, because it cuts down on all the procrastinating that comes from I need a snack, I need a water, I don't have a pencil, I don't have a pen. I try to put all of that stuff out so we can get all the kids' stuff done before they have to transition to sports and we jump into dinner time. I usually do kind of a command central station in the kitchen, which again, I've shared many times on this channel, but I can share it again if you'd like to see it. And then I prep dinner at 5:30. I have an alarm that goes off on my phone to remind me in case I get sidetracked doing something with the kids. And I usually don't film that because our kids help us make dinner. They actually really enjoy it, and it's a great way to keep them off the screens. If you guys are looking for kid-friendly knives, they have some really great ones on Amazon. Just Google search it. They're great. Our kids use them to help prep dinner with us, which makes it really, really fun. Dinner usually for us is between 6:30 and 7. 7 is on the very late side, but it just depends on sports. We eat dinner together at the table. No TVs, just conversations. We all tidy up. Typically, we rotate who cleans up the table, and then we like to connect after dinner and hang out in the living room. Sometimes that's a movie, sometimes that's a game. Sometimes I have kids that just want to go chill and have alone time, read a book, call a friend. So that's really their time after dinner to kind of slow the evening down and get them reset for the evening. I thought we'd take a little break here and visit with our little Marie. She is such a love, you guys. I was really nervous about getting another kitten, but I don't know who rescued who here, but she has been such a jewel. All of the cats love her. Pepe loves her. It's been just wonderful. We're going to take a little break. I'm going to show you what's going on in the garden, and then I'm going to tell you the most important things to consider when you are starting to rebuild your back to school or fall routine.
Look who's here. Look who joined us. Hi. Hi, sweetheart. Hi. I know. One more week and then you can come out here. Oh, I just taught you a bad habit. Whoops. Whoops-a-daisy. Okay, guys. I messed up. We have a lot of chicken food today. These are not edible. Hi, Pump. Hi, Pumper. Get your little butt. We have lots of tomatoes. but unfortunately, very, very few that are red. I see like 1 or 2 in there, but they'll get there. These are ones the chickens ate already. Might have one in here. Yeah. We got one. This is tragic. Oh gosh, I should have come out here yesterday. It's literally, it'll be perfect one day and the next day they're gigantic. Oops, excuse me. And padrones for dinner tonight. Yes, ma'am. Pickled, look at those cucumbers. I don't know that we have a lot in here. I just did a big harvest, but we do have a couple. And Salty girl. Hi, Salt. Hi, baby. You come to Mama. Boop, 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 boop. You come to Mama. How are you? How is it, baby girl? How are you? I love you too. You having a good day, guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who are we missing? We're missing Lucy, as usual. Let's see if she's in here. She is not, but you guys have been eating eggs, which is not... I wonder if that's something else has been eating your eggs. Yikes. I don't see any possum, which is great. Lucy! Oh, I hear the kitten crying. Are you crying? Hi. I'm right here. Here, I'll bring Salty over. You can hang out with Salter. Yeah. You hang out with Salt. I know I love you too, baby girl, but you can't come outside yet. Ooh, you smell good in that oregano. Hi. I love you. God bless you. All right, let's do a little harvesting.
So getting back to our routine, we are now after dinner. We have tidied up. I've pretty much cleaned up the kitchen. There's nothing I hate more than waking up to a dirty kitchen, especially when I'm trying to start the day without stress and lots of stuff to do. Considering we have a nice busy to-do list, I'm sure. I always like to do things that are ready to prepare for the next day. So we always have the kids prep their backpacks, get their lunch boxes cleaned out, put away and or washed depending on what they need, and lay their clothes out. For the younger kids, I will lay their clothes out on Sundays for them because they have those little sweater caddies. I always put everything they need, so all they need to do is grab and go. But my older two, they're a little bit more self-sufficient at this age, so they are both teenagers. They can handle that stuff on their own. But shoes and backpacks by the front door are an absolute must. I always lay out their lunch boxes with the bento boxes. And then I kind of take a look at what I had put on the menu for that day. I find it really, really important to make sure you have everything you need, especially if maybe you don't have what you need and you need to adjust what you are planning for the lunch the next day. Again, breakfast is always pretty easy, but depending on what you're making, you might need to pull something out of the freezer. This is a great time to do that. I usually like to start getting the kids upstairs, which is their least favorite time, between 8:30 and 9:30, depending on how old the child is. I like to get my 2 youngest kids down a little bit earlier. It also gives me that extra time to lay in bed, read books to them, tuck them in, help them with brushing teeth, things like that. And then my teenagers, I'd usually just tell them, hey, go brush your teeth, get your jammies on. I give them their space to get that done, but we always have a nice check-in at the end of the day. Lay in bed, chat about their day, just a short check-in. I find it really, really important. And then once that's all done, it is our time. I usually will sit with my husband. Sometimes we'll watch a show, depending on what the timing is. And then I like to do a full skincare, hop into my bed, and do a little bit of reading or connecting with my husband. Lights are out usually I would say around 10:30. Get a nice good night's sleep and start the day all over again tomorrow. We were able to pull some delicious stuff out of the garden today, especially for the chickens. They were thrilled. Once the zucchinis get past a certain point, I find them to be a little bit bitter and just not very good, but the chickens love them, so it's a little free food for them, which I love. We have lots of different cucumbers coming out of this garden. I'm gonna pickle some of them today quickly and add in some of these peppers. I really hope this makes them spicy. I haven't actually tried them yet, but I did find a good recipe for it, so we're gonna throw those in real quick. I've been making pickles pretty much every other week at this point, and they are so delicious. I have been eating them like crazy, so has my husband, and like literally every friend we have come over, I am like, you have to try these pickles, they're so good. I did share the recipe in a previous video, very easy to make, but they have just been so delicious. I think it all comes down to what types of spices that you put in your pickles. That's been really the differentiator. I've been trying many different kinds, and I think it really does come down to the spices. I need a couple more tests, and then I will share what I consider to be the greatest spice mix for these. My husband just got home with my son. They went on a nice hike, so I thought I'd make them a nice delicious lunch since they weren't there when I made the kids' lunch. So I decided to make a nice big giant sandwich for them since I had everything ready to go. My mom used to make something called hoagies. Tell me in the comments down below if you've ever heard of that or had one. I have her recipe, so I was thinking about making them because they're so good, and I haven't had one in many years, but I usually make pretty substantial sandwiches. Like this is what I make for my teenage son who's in high school for his lunch at least 1 or 2 days a week. I add different things in there, but today we're going to do a little ham, a little turkey, a little salami. I add in a little bit of shredded lettuce, tomatoes, onions. My husband, he'll usually eat everything I give him. My son might pull the tomatoes and the onions out, although he has been eating tomatoes quite a bit lately since I've been having him come out of the garden. And then I always like to top it with a little bit of provolone cheese. Sometimes I'll do cheddar, but I really prefer like provolone, mozzarella. And then we're going to add a little olive oil, some red wine vinegar, and then I use an Italian spice. I usually use the one from Trader Joe's. It's my favorite, or the 21 Salute is also delicious. And then if you have the pepperoncinis, sometimes I like to take a little bit of the pepperoncini juice and put it on there as well. It's a very juicy sandwich, lots of mayonnaise and mustard. I think I just put everything I can find in the house on there. It happens to just be the most delicious. And then I wrap it up to keep it tight, to keep all the goodies in there, and serve it to them. This is also something you can make ahead of time, wrap it up, and put it in the refrigerator for the kids during the week. You can pretty much put anything in these, but I just love them. They're just delicious. It reminds me of getting a deli sandwich when I was a kid. So now that we have the boys fed, I wanted to try to throw together a spicy pickle canning today. I, again, have never done this before, so we're going to try it. I'm just going to cut up these peppers and throw them in. If you've got a good spicy recipe, I know some of you have sent me some. I've been trying many of your suggestions. I just appreciate it so much. I also wanted to throw a little of my favorite rotisserie chicken spice on this barbecue chicken we're going to do tonight. I've got into my cozies. Again, typically around this time between, 6 o'clock, 5:36, I've kind of started to wind down. The kids have been relaxed, and I always like to get on some nice relaxing clothes. As I do this voiceover, it is in the evening. I'm wearing my delicious sweatpants right now, and I just feel so cozy. And I just, it's one of those things that I find I look forward to during the day, especially when I'm tackling that massive to-do list. So the last thing I wanted to leave you guys with is kind of like my mindset keys to a nice, calm, and, a strong, steady, calm mom routine, especially if you have kids like I do, is getting into these daily rhythms is really powerful, and it can always bring back kind of your daily anchors of morning peace, family dinner, bedtime connection, things like that. I think really do help keep the day flowing. Things I try to deeply avoid is getting sidetracked, like going to Target or Home Goods. Unless that's something that's on my to-do list because I need something, I try not to waste hours of my day doing things that are not on my list of things that need to get done, or spend hours scrolling on Instagram. As much as I love to be on social media, I actually don't consume a lot of it. I try to remember to be over there as much as I can, but it's not something that I gravitate towards. So try to find those things that you do on the daily that are kind of pulling you away from the anchors that we like. Again, morning peace, starting your day, getting things done, filling up your own cup, spending quality time with your family. Really try to anchor those things into your day. And then I always like to empower my kids' independence. This is one of the reasons I wanted to do today's video and share these thoughts with you, is I don't share my children on social media. So it's really hard for me to take you on a really full day in the life because they are in this kitchen nonstop. They help me clean, they help me cook, they take their laundry baskets to their rooms and put their things away. They make their own beds. They're pretty incredible kids, and it makes it a little difficult to really run you through an authentic day in my life because they're a huge part of every single day of my life. The other thing I would say is find something within your day that brings you a little bit of happiness, whether it's I like to do fresh flowers on the weekends. That's kind of like the thing I look forward to, or that hours between 12 and 3 when I find time to work out, go for a nice walk with a friend, read a book, listen to French music, and organize something in my house. Like, these are all things I find as touch points throughout my day that I really, really enjoy. I love watching a good podcast. Listening to a good podcast. I love watching a good murder mystery. Like, these are little things I kind of try to look forward to, whether it's a 5-minute task or a 30-minute task. It's something that I have a touch point of the day when I get to wake up and look forward to. I try to plan it into my block schedule because it just gives me a little bit of joy throughout the day, where I'm not just working towards what needs to happen in the house, but also what needs to happen for me. And the last thing I would say is you don't have to do it all every day. Like, there are days, I will tell you, where I have completely fallen off my routine. It happened a lot this summer, I'm going to be honest. I got done what needed to get done, but like the other day I had a full to-do list and ended up just sitting in the pool with the kids all day. Like, just completely to-do list went out the window. But that's okay because I woke up the next day and got to pick up where I left off. I even had an extra helper here at the house, so I was able to get more done that way. So please don't get stuck in the everyday needs to look the same and you need to be hustling around. Your day should be calm. Your day should be relaxed. Your day should be productive. Your day should be organized. And most of all, they should be fun, because if you're not laughing, you're not living. And I feel that we need to prioritize more joy in our lives, especially as providers for children, mothers, fathers, grandparents, caregivers. Oftentimes, caring for others can be very draining on somebody. So I really hope that we all prioritize ourselves as we go back into the fall season. Things will slow down. It's one of the reasons I always like to decorate for fall before the kids go back to school, because it just naturally slows the house down. I don't know what it is about that fall candle, but girl, when I light that, all of a sudden everybody is a lot more calm. Things are slower. We just seem to be a little bit more present in our household. I don't know why. Summer always feels like an absolute rat race, and then everything comes to a screeching halt when we go back to school, and the routine absolutely changes. So this is my little rant on back to school, how I manage my days. And if you guys would like a more in-depth video of what my planner looks like, how I am able to do all the things, even though I can't show all of that here, I still didn't want to go back to school without touching base on what my day-to-day schedules are, my morning routines, my afternoon routines, my evening routines, and just things I like to do to keep the house calm, keep my kids happy, keep my relationship strong, especially the one I have with myself, while still having a little bit of fun and enjoying the afternoon, staying healthy with a good meal plan each day for myself, and not just being completely burnt out all the time. I find that being a stay-at-home parent is such a blessing and a gift that I want to find joy in, and this is the way that I have found how to do block scheduling, keep the joy alive, have fun, keep a heart of gratitude. And I hope it helped you guys kind of start to compartmentalize going back to school, how you can kind of get all of the things done while putting yourself first, having simple routines, shaking it up with different meals, different music, and then different tasks around the house, or maybe just overall you like to have different hobbies that you like to go do during the day. Go to a dance class, go to an art class. There's so many different things. You can join groups, you can join clubs, go play tennis, go play golf. There's joy and art in living, and I hope you guys have a very, very blessed back to school season. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one real soon. Bye!